Ladies and gentlemen.
Giggity. All right.
Seems quiet. Too quiet.
I'm Batman. Gotham is never safe without me. What time is it? It's 7 o'clock. Okay, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You can attach towers? Shut up. Impromptu performance this evening, which I must say was indeed a welcome distraction. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. You're very kind. This is going to be funny. Good evening. What's up? Johnny. Jesse. Getting almost second. Hello. Just got out of work, so got you on mobile. Nice. You know, I keep meaning to ask you, Johnny, what is it you do? What do you do for work? Up there in New York with your coffee. Huh? Huh? Just curious. I need to change that. Save. Okay. What? Fire Beef? Hello. How are you? So I'm just doing a couple of updates to save myself from hating everything. Trying to make things a little easier on myself. I am almost done. And save. It's mama's mama. Hi. Hey, girl. Hey. I have no idea why I did that. So technically full-time content creator, but on occasion I work at a market research company. Okay. Yeah, I knew you were like twitching full-time, but yeah, just had me curious what you did otherwise. So good to know. Market research company. All right. Going for the scan on Wednesday. Okay. Do you know, did they give you a time? Did they give you like follow-up steps based on what may or may not be found? You don't have to divulge all of that right now if you don't want to, but just thought I'd ask. Boy, it has been a weekend. Blockage. Oh. Damn, Beeve. That sucks. I'm really sorry to hear that. If you need anything, just let me know. I'll do what I can. I'm really sorry to hear that. Hopefully they can get it all taken care of. Sheesh. So, my Saturday started very, very abruptly at 7:20 in the morning with a ding-dong on the doorbell. We got our mower delivered, which was fantastic. The delivery time frame was between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. They showed up at 7:20. So, props for being efficient is all I can say. Hi, Katie. Lovely to see you. Good evening / morning to you. So after that got all squared away, I was then off to Lowe's to pick up some lumber and some other stuff for this new project I have started. And I have, unless I've been like sleeping, eating, or spending time with family, I've been doing nothing but the project. So I'm whooped. I am beat. My 40-year-old body is like, bro, you're 40. So, that's why my little go live notification says I am not working out tonight. I don't care what happens. Those hammers and curls, they can stay there until Tuesday. Holy cow. But yeah, the project's coming along great though.
Noise.
Hi, Gemma. I saw it on the screen and I still was like, oh god, the honking. Nor squats. I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna sit here. So yeah, it's coming along really well, but I'm not previewing anything right now until it's finished. So you just have to wait and see. But yeah. Oh, and I haven't opened it yet, but inside this box contains God, Johnny. It contains, don't spill my tea, newer and hopefully better bezel kits, because this is the one I got from Etsy, okay? The one from Etsy was considerably cheaper. However, it's not supposed to be this. It's supposed to be firm, rigid, hard, not floppy. So yeah. Did you order the brand? No, I went to Amazon and I got the Asus ones, but I used points to do it, so I didn't spend any extra money. Not floppy, must be hard. Exactly. So obviously I haven't gotten them out of the box yet, but the next time I hop on ATS, I intend on getting those puppies installed first so I can truly try it out. And you know what? If for some reason the floppy ones work just as well, I'll return the other ones and get my money back, my points back. I don't actually know how that works. I'm assuming you get your points back. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, the flimsiness of it makes it really easy for them to move out of place, because if anyone's dealt with those, you have to have them like just in the right spot for it to work. So, you know, we'll see. Hope it works good. Excited to see the pics. Yeah, thanks. Oh, and on Thursday, just as a heads up, I would have been switching back to ATS on Thursday because last week we did Helldivers, which was a ton of fun. I was able to pick up the new Sniper Elite Resistance on sale, and Super SB from the After Hours Broalition has it on Game Pass, so he and I are gonna team up and co-op, and I have not played a single mission in that yet. I am waiting until Thursday so that we can team up and do it together. We're gonna do it together.
Can we get some hype in the chat, please? Can we get some hype in the chat, please? Get some hype. 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 Get some hype in the chat, please. Can we get some hype in the chat, please?
Thank you for that. Oh, Johnny, I totally forgot. When you enter chat now, you need to do this.
Hey, who's that handsome guy?
Just for you, sir. That tea is so good. So good. All right. Let me join up on the puzzle here. This is... I normally I search for a book-related puzzle, but I saw this one and it just looked too good. Gemma, why do you do this? Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Conservative, Acoustium, Beer Not Babies, Dr. Dulcamara, and Miss Metal. There's only one person in that group that I actually recognize, which I hope isn't a bad thing, because if they you know what I mean. Anyway, thank you so much. Gosh darn it. That was super kind of you. Let's get out the wheel. I made the command easier. We get to do this 5 times. 2. Man, that... Oh, okay, that was... May the 4th be with you. Oh, man, that was close. Gemma, thank you so much. Thank you so much for gifting those subs. You're always so generous with your financials in here, and I appreciate it to the bottom of my heart. Streamer picks. All right. Let's add squats. I really need to shrink down the commands so that I don't have to type as much doing these. I should just go with like S, P, H, C. That would make it so much easier. Curls. Alrighty. That's 2. And remember, I am not doing any of these tonight. I don't care what you say. Streamer picks. We'll do more squats. I don't get enough of those in. Here comes number 3. The push-up. The push-up. And last but not least... Wow, the streamer picks is strong tonight. Let's do hammer. Gemma, bless your heart. Thank you so much. Clip.
Do you guys have the
DBD. DBD.
what you both do?
You know, I haven't seen anyone play that game in a really long time, now that I think about it. Is it, like, fallen off the map? You don't play that anymore? Yeah, see? It's weird, right? I mean, I've never played it, so I can't, like, say anything about it, but... Because the killers are OP? I don't know what that means. It got too toxic for me. That makes sense. I've heard it can be quite toxic. Oh, overpowered. Thank you. God, I feel old. My body's telling me, and so does my brain. We have races ready. We have the puzzle ready. So you do diamond art in Cozy Games? Lovely. Please, please, please join the races. It's 16 races. KD, you're welcome to join these too. You don't have to do anything except type !play. That's it. 60 seconds before they start, and as that gets going, let me keep an eye on our ads timer here. 46-ish minutes. Ooh, let's see what the emote is. Thank you, Gemma, again. That's perfect. It's a teacup that spills the tea. That's amazing. Speaking of tea, I'm gonna take one more sip. What is button mash? Oh, okay. I didn't see the arrow there at first. And you met the sub goal. You're amazing. You are amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and relax. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I have been looking forward to this ever since I realized my body hates me. Why do my Govee lights keep turning off? I didn't tell you to turn off. Just gonna turn those back on. The other ones did too. Weird. Alexa, turn on the Govee lights. There we go. So strange. All right. We're on chapter 18 tonight. Or, sorry, did I put 18? No, we're on 17. We're starting at chapter 17. This is from the inspector's perspective. Salvatore Romano. The title says Amici e Nemici, friends and foes. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and I will read you a story. I have some replacement parts. My body doesn't hate me so much as it used to. Holy crap. I wouldn't say no. That's all I'm saying. All right. Thank you again for being here. Your support means just the world to me. So I'm glad to be able to read to you, and here we go. Outside the gloomy confines of the church, the world seemed brighter. White clouds floated across the Tuscany sky, the afternoon sun beating as my men and I returned to the station. Holmes and Neen Adler followed in their brougham, pulled by a smart pair of greys. I sat puffing away on a cigarette, reflecting on the magnitude of the past few days' events, thinking if only those horses could talk. Feeling an all too familiar discomfort in my chest, I pulled out a small bottle of nitroglycerin from my coat pocket, stubbing out my cigarette before taking a swig of the dense, colorless liquid. We arrived at the commissariato. There's more to that. We arrived at the Commissariato de Polizia station around 2:30 p.m. I ushered Sherlock Holmes and Neen into my office and invited them to sit across from the mahogany desk. I had to keep reminding myself that I had a job to do. As law enforcers and officers, my team and I were trained from an early stage not to allow our emotions to interfere with the task at hand. Still, it pained me to see my friends suffering like this, victims of this cold, premeditated crime. Even though my wife and I were blessed with 2 children, it was hard to imagine what Holmes and Neen must be going through. Can there be any grief greater than a parent losing their child, no matter the circumstances? Who can comprehend the raw emotion and say anything to soften the visceral blow? So let no man take it lightly, because my men and I certainly did not. Like me, the great detective was keenly aware that in most abduction cases, the longer it took to find the victim, the odds of discovering them alive were greatly diminished. But by the looks of things, Nico Saparo's abduction was not your typical kidnapping. I first met Irene Adler in 1895. It was a year that shaped my life, and one I shall never forget for several reasons. I was promoted to inspector shortly after becoming engaged to the love of my life, the beautiful raven-haired Caterina Di Botti, a teacher at the Via Galvani school in Lombardy. I was introduced to Caterina at a dinner party the previous year, and there was an immediate attraction. I found her a delightful, witty woman with a magnetic personality and mesmerizing hazel eyes. Caterina was 5 years younger than me at 33 and still single. At the grand old age of 38, Salvatore Alberto Romano had given up on women and affairs of the heart. After a disastrous relationship in my youth, I decided to concentrate on my career, which left little time for romance. But then I met Caterina and fell deeply in love. We married in 1896 after a whirlwind 3-month courtship. Of course, this was just after Holmes and Adler's adventures in Fiesole with the late Colonel Moriarty, who was subsequently shot dead by my colleague from the Fiesole Polizia, Inspector Carlos Montalabro, an old acquaintance, now retired from the force. Montalabro was instrumental in developing my career. I worked alongside him as a rookie detective in my hometown of Parma, where I was born and raised, honing my craft until I was eventually promoted to chief inspector. Now, age 50, with a loving wife, 2 exceptional children, and 10 officers working under me, I realized I had much to be thankful for. Fate destined me to cross paths once again with the Saporis. In 1905, when I investigated the attempted murder of Luigi Amato in Milan, Amato's wife, Renata, was wrongly suspected of the attempted poisoning of her husband. Thanks to Holmes's remarkable abilities as a detective, and with the assistance of Neen, who was confident of her friend's innocence, we brought the malevolent persons to justice. Holmes and I remained friends ever since. He wasn't a particularly social man, but we met up for the odd beer or a glass of whiskey, and recently had dinner together, hosted by my wife Caterina at our villa in Dumont. Caterina and Neen shared a love of horses, and we would occasionally meet up at the San Siro racetrack for an afternoon of racing and hospitality. Our children, Carlo, age 9, and Andrea, 7, adored Irene Adler, affectionately known as Neen to those closest to her. The children were... Why are the lights turning off? I do not understand. The children were captivated by her kindness, wit, and engaging personality. Generous to a fault, she remembered their birthdays and always sent cards and gifts at Christmas. She couldn't have been kinder. As I came to know Holmes, I discovered some of his words. Super! What's up, man? How are you? Gemma, well done winning the first race. But can you win the second? Now that Super's here, all bets are off. 60 seconds on the clock. Good luck. Good, how am I? I'm doing well. It's been a heck of a weekend. I have been busy. So very busy, but all in a good way. Mama House Gaming. Hello, ma'am. How art thou? Just trying to figure out when my Govee lights keep turning off. It's weird. It is unusual, yes? Weird. Anyway, as I came to know Holmes, I discovered some of his eccentricities. I don't know why that's so hard to say. Most notably, his complete lack of interest in astronomy and astrology, or whether the world was round or flat, his wanton untidiness and almost obsessive love of personal cleanliness, which Neen said drove her to distraction at times. While best known for his brilliant detective reasoning and crime-solving abilities, he was fascinated by how, throughout history, people could read the same thing yet have different perspectives. Towering over 6 feet with a formidable presence and an unorthodox manner, the celebrated detective possessed an effortless confidence that commanded admiration. That's not even a thing. There's no such thing as There is such a thing as delicious tea, though. You went to hang out with Rhino and the fam? Nice. As I mentioned before, Super and I are going to be putting people in our crosshairs on Thursday and sniping them. It's going to be great. Were it in my power to grant eternal life, none would be more deserving than this peerless legend. He was a true man of the millennium and the finest detective of his age. There had been others before him who were no match for the man's genius, and indeed others would follow in years to come, attempting to emulate his remarkable powers of observation. That's the thing about Holmes. He had a reserve that you never really penetrated, and as a consequence, you never knew what he was thinking or what was coming next. Fubar. Good evening. Consequently, I came to have high regard and the utmost respect for the man I was proud to call my friend, even if he could only be acknowledged as Luca Sapori. I felt privileged to be one of the few, along with my most trusted officers, who knew his undercover identity. How ironic that the celebrated detective was the first to discover my dark secret. Contrary to my Catholic faith, I was ordained as a Freemason, even though Catholics were forbidden to join Masonic lodges since 1738. I was admitted as an apprentice by the Grand Master in 1901 at the request of my late father, Alberto. My mother, Georgiana, a staunch Catholic, raised me firmly in the Orthodox Church. My father's allegiance to the Masons did not fit in with her beliefs, causing many arguments. Mother sadly passed away from scarlet fever when I was 10, and my grief-stricken father never got over her demise. On his deathbed, Father made me promise on the Bible to carry on the doctrine. Oh, look at that. I seem to have won. Oops. No worries. You'll have another opportunity at the Lakeshore Raceway. Yes, look how nice it is. There's a lake with people. Yes, very random. 60 seconds on the clock. He admired the ideals and ethics of the famous Italian general, patron, and revolutionary Garibaldi. He was initiated and lodged in Montevideo, where he retained his honorary title of past Grand Master and remained active until he died in 1882. My father, God bless his soul, was desperate for me, his only son, to continue the family tradition, so I reluctantly agreed. Even though my induction often blurred the lines between my public and private lives, as a dutiful son, I was determined to see it through and fulfill my father's dying wish. My involvement with the Masons had remained secret until 6 months ago, when Holmes and I met up for supper in the Baronia Bar in the Old Town. Holmes was uncharacteristically late for our appointment, citing work pressure as an excuse for his tardiness. I thanked him for coming and hoped I'd not kept him from anything pressing. Nothing that won't keep, Holmes replied, his eyes dancing in amusement. I simply can't allow you to drink alone, old chap. Why, it's the first step to perdition. The Masons were a big part of my life. Yeah, I can't really say I know much about it, other than watching Nicolas Cage in National Treasure. I don't think that counts, though. Not really. We were enjoying our second whiskey when a fellow Mason entered the bar. I recognized him at once from the Masonic meetings. The man was Enzo Giuliano, a doctor from Legnano, a tall, slim fellow with black wavy hair and an English-style mustache. Enzo removed his hat and acknowledged my presence with a nod and smile. I beckoned him over so as not to arouse suspicion. We chatted briefly, and I introduced him to Luca Sapori. Enzo refused our invitation to sit and join us for supper, explaining he was just passing through, visiting relatives, and had only stopped at the inn for a glass of port. I mean, why not? When Enzo finished his drink, we said our farewells and shook hands. But the world-famous detective's eagle eyes hadn't missed a thing. After Enzo left the public house, the waiter finally served our food. Holmes remarked that he recognized the shibboleth grip, a handshake commonly used amongst fellow Masons. The shibboleth is similar to a regular handshake, except the Mason presses the top of his thumb against the space between his fellow Mason's first and second knuckle joints. That's a really weird shake. The secret to the Masonic handshake was not how it was given, but what it represented. Friendship, morality, and brotherly love. Port pairs well with dark chocolate. Remind me to talk about that after I finish this chapter. About the chocolate part. Holmes, of course, was aware of this, having his dealings in London with a fellow Mason, Jabez Wilson, in 1890. So, until then, Holmes joked he'd always associated the Masons with words. The Masons with equestrian men. See, I just had to slap it out of my mouth. Far from being shocked, he appeared highly amused by my induction, utterly unlike any person I had come across. I considered Holmes a sympathetic voice to reveal my secret. After I explained the link with my late father and how my allegiance to the Masons had come about, Holmes gave me what I imagined to be a smile and, to my great relief, promised never to speak of it again. When he slapped me on the back as we raised a toast to my late father, I knew I was in the shadow of a giant. I'd seen it all in my career. Fraudsters, rapists, pedophiles, drug gangs, and murderers. But investigating Nico Sapori's abduction as a law enforcer, father, and friend proved to be a traumatic experience. In its banality, the evil act reminded us that the most disturbing, heinous crimes were often carried out not by monsters, but by ordinary people, driven by typical human traits such as ambition, greed, or, in Stapleton's case, a misguided sense of worth and jejune self-entitlement. Katerina was devastated by what happened. She begged me to find the perpetrators, and I reassured her that my men were doing everything possible to bring the culprits to justice. Consequently, my wife and I hugged our children tighter at the end of each day. And that brings chapter 17 to a close. So there's a little bit of history about the detective, which, Katie, I think I've mentioned this before, but just in case I haven't, and it was just in my brain, I really like how you, when the time is right, throw in some backstory about the characters, kind of giving us a little bit of history about them, helping us to get to know them better and how they fit into the story. So I like it. Spaghetti bread. Hello. What you working on? We're reading a book. We're doing a puzzle. We're racing in marbles. And I'm about to tell a story about chocolate. You are quite welcome. So earlier today, we as a family, we went out and did played some mini golf at a town just north of us. We've been there before. It was nice weather. We're like, you know what? Let's do it. The mini golf was fun. We had a good time. Afterwards, we went just down the street to a little, I don't know what you would call it. It's not a drive-through because you can park and order, but you don't go inside. You just order at the window and then you disperse kind of thing, like one of those deals. They've got like handheld food like burgers and hot dogs, but they have a lot of like ice cream treats. I got a specific kind of ice cream treat. I opted for the banana cream pie flavored ice cream, but then you can add in a candy, right? Kind of like Cold Stone, if you're familiar with Cold Stone. So I asked them to add German chocolate, because that was on the list. Now, when one thinks of adding German chocolate, what do you think that means? I'm curious what you guys think. When you hear or when you see on a menu, hey, you can get this kind of ice cream and you can add in German chocolate. What does that mean to you? Oh, this tea. It's so good. I know what you mean, but did they go for German chocolate cake? Exactly. They put in pecans and coconut. I did not know this. Oh, 60 seconds on the clock. Forgot to do that. I've been to Germany. I've had chocolate that is from Germany. So I was expecting, I mean, I thought it was odd that it was like German chocolate instead of like Hershey or whatever, right? Since we're here in the good old United States of America. And I start eating it and I'm like, what? Well, I know it would still work with bananas, but I was expecting just literal chocolate, not coconut and pecans. I don't like pecans. And coconut, I'm iffy on. Like, I don't mind it, but I'm not going to go, oh my gosh, give me the coconut. Rexter. Good evening, sir. So yes, that threw me way off. I bought some German chocolate at Frankfurt Airport. Not tried it yet. Oh, careful. It might have coconut and pecans in it. Why are you eye-rolling me? Why? I do not... I don't deserve that eye roll. Why are you eye-rolling me? Broforce. Sorry, I got a call right when I entered? Oh, no worries. Pecans and coconuts are delicious. I mean, I don't like nuts, period. If I had to eat one, pecan would be like, you know, the best of the worst scenario. But I wasn't expecting coconut and nuts. I was just expecting chocolate. Because you've been in the States long enough to know what German chocolate is. Well, no, I haven't had any German chocolate cake. Like, ever. In my entire 40 years of existence. No cuts, no butts, no coconuts. Boy, the list of things I cannot feed you is growing. Yeah, but it makes it really easy on what you can feed me. Right? Right? Okay. Me either, because it's nasty, but still. No. No, but still. I'm going to take one more sip of this amazing tea. Much needed. And then we're going to dive into a very short chapter 18. I also need to make it public knowledge. Rexter and I have had a conversation. I will not be spinning the workout wheel if Rexter were to resub or gift a sub or whatever. He made me promise that I would not. And so I said I won't. You're welcome. All right, chapter 18 is a short one. It is 2 pages. So here we go. This is again from Salvatore Romano's perspective. Guida, or Judas, is the title. I'd promised the Seporis that my men were beyond reproach. But as I had now discovered, there were at least one rotten apple in the barrel. Glancing downwards, a mountain of paperwork cast a long shadow over my desk. I pushed it to one side, then scooped it up, stuffing the papers into one of the filing cabinets before emptying the overflowing ashtray into a waste paper bin. Forgive me, I said. It appears my paperwork and tobacco ash have superiority over me. I opened the drawer of my mahogany desk, pulling out a profile of Guardia Luigi Giarkowska, dressed in full uniform. His black curly hair, dark penetrating eyes, and severe expression stared at me from the identity picture. from his identity picture. I slid the profile over the desk towards Holmes. This is Guarda Luigi Guerracosca. My colleagues tell me he's been behaving erratically lately, spending money freely. Yet, he's a divorced man with gambling debts and the responsibility for the upkeep of 2 properties. While his ex-wife has custody of the children, he's expected to pay support for them both. All this on a guardia's wage. I shook my head. Guerracosca let slip to a colleague that he'd been doing a job on the side that pays well. My men have had him under surveillance for the past few days. Our conversation was interrupted by Neen Adler. Then why are we waiting, Salvatore? When will you stop speculating and interrogate this Guerracosca? She asked, looking at me searchingly. Despite our friendship, I sensed a strained formality, a distance between us. Behind that grace and indomitable spirit, Neen struggled to control her emotions. I hesitated momentarily, taking in her appearance. She looked desperately tired. White kid gloves covered her hands, which were continually fiddling with the blue silk scarf draped around her neck. Her eyes were red-rimmed from crying, yet a fearlessness about her was alluring. She remained heart-stoppingly beautiful. I smiled at her reassuringly before continuing my narrative. Guerracosca finished his shift half an hour ago. I asked him to come to the interview room because I needed his help. I turned my attention to Holmes. I presume you would like to sit in on the interview? Yes, Inspector, thank you. I take it this man was aware of our visit to the church this morning? I nodded. Holmes glanced over to Neen, speaking to her softly. You look exhausted. I think it best you return home and rest. If you come with us, it will only invoke suspicion. He leaned forward to take her hand, brushing a finger over her knuckles in a soothing motion. She took his hand in hers and squeezed, staring up at her husband with an expression of the utmost tenderness. Neen's unwavering belief in Holmes' sense of unity and dogged determination to find their son was heart-wrenching. To me, a humble onlooker, this was a testament to the couple's incredible bond. Neen agreed to her husband's request that she return home after promising to keep her updated on any fresh developments. I summoned one of the Guardi to drive Signora Sapora back to her villa, ensuring she was safely ensconced in the carriage before Holmes and I made our way to the interview room number 2 at the far end of the station, taking our seats in anticipation of Guerracosca's arrival. And that's the end of the chapter. Mel. Johnny's back, sorta. Boy, are you here? You're not, man. What up? Mel, it's so good to see you. How are you? It's been a hot minute. Just popped in to say hello. Boom, boom. Boom. 60 seconds on the clock. Waves to everyone. I'm good, missed hearing you read. Well, I'm glad you're back. Missed having you here. We are, let me find my mouse. We are currently partway through that book. We're just about to start chapter 19 on page 119. KD ML Roos in chat is also an author. Author? Meet author. I had to be careful not to say Arthur, because that's what my brain wanted to do. And anyone else I might have forgotten but didn't say hi to earlier. No worries, Johnny. No worries. You know? Hey, forget about it. It's fine. Come, sit down, sit down. Pull up a chair. Oh, that tea is disappearing way too quickly. All right. Chapter 19, continuing with Salvatore Romano. It looks like this one is called Doppio Gioco? Double crossing? Doppio Gioco. I'm learning and yet not remembering all kinds of Italian. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Wow, you guys are nailing that puzzle. Good job. It's coming along quite well. Don't do it again or I'll send you to the principal's office. Wow. Dang, bro. Oh, you know what? I just glanced at our ad timer and there's like 10-ish minutes until an ad runs. This chapter is not 2 pages, so I think I'm going to run the ads real quick, and then we'll keep going. That way we don't miss out. I think you're supposed to solve a puzzle, not nail it. Okay. Can we get a timeout on Red Thorn, please? Oh, wait, he's a mod. Shit. I mean, hey, Red, what up? You're running ads just as I get here? Ooh. Hi, Adamantine, if you can hear me. All the cool people in here tonight. It's wonderful to see everybody. Super SB, I should have known. Adamantine refresh. Thank you, Super. Let's see if I can... Oh, you guys need a shorter title. Or stream name, not title. You didn't get hit with that? Well, that's lucky. I love to give when I can. Oh, hype in the chat for Super, by the way. Because our boy here landed himself a job. Wow, that was a scary guy.
Can we get some hype in the chat, please? Can we get some hype in the chat, please? Get some hype. 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 Get some hype in the chat, please. Can we get some hype in the chat, please?
Who has 2 thumbs and is gainfully employed? That guy. Super, when do you start? You said you're hired, but when do you begin? May 5th. All right, that's not bad. Got a couple of weeks to chill out. Like actually relax now that you don't have to stress about finding something. That's great. Revenge of the 5th. Ooh, this is a fun one. Huge weight off your shoulders? I can only imagine, man. Rackster. I do need to spin. Hold on. I'm forgetting everything. Timeout. Except for the 60 seconds on the racing clock. I do need to spin the wheel once for supers. And see if he gets this. Oh, so close. Thank you again, Super. Let me spin the wheel for yours. I'm not spinning it for Rexter. Hammer. Hammer. Rexter, Techno, Donna, Mel, Newsy, and Blueberry Muffin. Blueberry. That's nice. Thank you for gifting the 5 subs. I will spin the other wheel for you, though, Rexter. Yes. You can't tell me I can't do that, because it has nothing to do with workouts. We're going to spin it 5 times. 1 for each sub, unless, of course, you land on the magical mark. This wheel is for my giveaway. Here comes number 4. Ooh, that one got a little closer. And number 5. Oh, man, that was close. So essentially, it's a $25 gift card. All the month of April. If nobody lands on it in the month of April, it gets added in May. So May becomes a $50 gift card. If no one wins in May, June becomes a $75 gift card. If no one gets it in June, July becomes a $100 gift card. And if no one gets it in July, we just keep it at 100 until someone lands on the frickin' thing. So that's what that's for. And 1 sub is a wheel, 5 subs is a wheel, 10 or more subs is a different wheel, which gets you 15 guesses. So 1 guess, 5 guesses, and then 15. Or I say guesses because it used to be actual page numbers in a book. So instead, I changed it to 3 different wheels. There's only 3 wheels, Johnny. Calm down. Okay. Thank you again for the generosity from you both. Let's get Rexter a shout out as well while we're here. Techno. Thank you, Rexter, for the sub. Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy. Good to see you, Techno. How are you?
And Ivan came in and called me a sharmuta.
And
Look at that guy.
you answer him,
Cordy was
but
like,
Let me ask you what. Great to see you too. Doing great in yourself? I'm doing wonderful, thank you. Having a nice chill read with our puzzle and marbles. We're gonna get cracking on chapter 19 here in just a moment. As soon as I get this mystery question from Rexter. If I remember, you have a Steam Deck, right? I do. Staring at it. I've got all the buttons. Although, I should probably change some of them.
Say that again, I liked it.
What? Oh, stream. You said sorry. I read Stream Deck. You have the buttons for the wheel there too. No, I need to put it on there. So yeah. Anyway, I haven't quite shifted everything yet. It takes a lot of time. Did you mean Stream Deck? I'm assuming you meant Stream Deck. Am I free after stream? No, but I should have some time tomorrow. If tomorrow works. Is that okay? Tomorrow works? All right. Cool. Yeah, I need to get better with the buttons. Okay. Chapter 19. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So again, this is from Salvatore Romano's perspective. Double crossing. I need to do that too. I'm terrible with my Stream Deck. Yeah. I'm off today, tomorrow, and Tuesday, but then I work the rest of the week. We don't normally work on Fridays, but we do this week for some reason. Overtime will be insane. Everyone loves a little bit of overtime cash flow. Oh boy. What are we moving on to? Chapter. Race number 7. Race number 7. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. 60 seconds on the clock. Okay, chapter 19. Here we go. Gierkoska gazed at me questioningly, removing his helmet as he entered the room. I gestured for him to sit before introducing him to Luca Sapori. Signor Sapori is the father of the missing boy, Nico. We have reason to believe that you may have information as to the identity of the kidnappers. Gierkoska looked at me appalled, shaking his head. I have no idea what you're talking about, Inspector. I swore to uphold the law, not break it. I can assure you that the poor child's disappearance has nothing to do with me. The extra job you've been bragging about. Who are you working for? I demanded, staring at Gierkoska suspiciously. Well, you have it all wrong, Inspector. I'm not working for anyone. I have nothing to hide. Then, in that case, you won't object to me, Guardi Rosso, and Signor Sapori accompanying you to your house to search the premises? No. Why would I? Gierkoska answered, flashing us an enigmatic smile. We can go now if you wish. As I have just said, I have nothing to conceal. Throughout our conversation, Holmes had uncharacteristically barely spoken. He sat on his chair, his fingers pressed together as though in deep concentration, no doubt digesting every word. We arrived at Gierkoska's place in Centro Storico 25 minutes later. He lived on the first floor of a converted house, a rambling affair which consisted of a lounge, kitchen, bathroom, and 2 bedrooms. The apartment was basically furnished, save for an elegant chaise lounge littered with racing papers? Yes. Which looked oddly out of place next to 2 battered armchairs and a long, low, occasional table cluttered with dirty glasses and several empty whiskey and beer bottles, standing next to a well-used pack of cards. A cheap blue woolen rug covered the tile floor. Super wants the tips. We entered the kitchen, which was messy and cluttered. It consisted of a sink, stove, and a small card table with 4 chairs. The potent aroma of stale smoke hung thickly in the air. The bedrooms were each adorned with wardrobes, chests of drawers, and matching bedsteads made from the finest African black wood. You were screwed by the tips, is that right? The items are out of reach for many, never mind someone surviving on a Guardia's wage. Rousseau searched the lounge and kitchen, while Holmes and I concentrated on the bedrooms and bathroom, pulling out every drawer and inspecting all the cupboards and wardrobes. We found nothing sinister in the bathroom, only toiletries, towels, and a wet razor. It looked like we had a fruitless task until Holmes opened the wardrobe in the second bedroom to find 4 work shirts on hangers, an assortment of jackets and trousers, 3 pairs of shoes and boots, and a selection of ties hanging on a hook. Holmes' darting glances alerted me to a sudden interest as he asked to borrow my torch. Then, tapping the bottom of the wardrobe with his cane, we heard a hollow sound coming from a loose, misaligned panel. Holmes prized open the seam with a jackknife to reveal a secret compartment, concealing a shoebox. Size 12. I have no idea what the size was. Oh man, I came in last. But Gemma, look at you. Next up is the circuit. The circuit. 60 seconds on the old ticker. Good luck. I need to turn my ceiling fan off. So we have a portable hammock now. I bought it a couple of weeks ago, only just got it set up today. And my God, I laid in that thing for like 60 seconds just to try it out, and I did not want to get up. I was like, how can I stream from here? It's like if I could bring it down here into my office and then just, position the microphone, move the camera, I would totally just be like, start stream, lay in hammock, read book. It was pretty amazing. And I almost just spilled tea on myself. Okay, continuing the story. The shoebox. He scrutinized it, finally removing the lid and taking out the pair of Italian leather shoes inside to reveal both were stuffed with notes and coins amounting to around 1,000 lira. The box was nestled directly beneath Agardia's blue uniform, which was damp, dusty, and heavily stained. Holmes' shocking discovery immediately eradicated the self-assured smile on Gierkoska's face, as I imagine it would. During briefings at the station, I instilled into my men that to get the truth, one had to ask the right questions. And no one did this better than the celebrated detective. As the atmosphere in the room became increasingly tense, Holmes only asked one question regarding Gierkoska's with a skeptical eye. Skeptical eye. Jeez. Or maybe it is skeptical. I'm not sure. When did you last wear this? He asked, frowning as he pointed to the uniform. Gierkoska took a nervous gulp of air and shifted uncomfortably as the detective's penetrating eyes burned through him. A few days ago, I put my spare uniform in here to remind me that it needs valeting and a trip to the tailor's, as I carelessly lost a button. Gierkoska spluttered, giving me a perplexed stare. His face flushed crimson as Holmes reached into the pocket of the uniform jacket and pulled out a black mask. Ah, Inspector. We would appear to have found the driver who was instrumental in abducting my son. I'm sorry. Girakoska said with a bowed head and lowered eyes. But I was a desperate man. His voice trailed off, observing Holmes' baleful stare. What about the money? I asked. Who gave it to you? Don't insult my intelligence by telling me you won it playing poker or backed a winner at the races. Girakoska stood before us, his hands nervously gripping the dressing table, and a slight shudder became apparent throughout his body. He uttered 2 words. Emilio Rodriguez. There was a knowing glance of recognition as Holmes and I turned to face each other. Reaching into my pocket, I pulled out the silver button retrieved from the coach, holding the navy serge material toward the light streaming through the window. It was a perfect match. That's the end of chapter 19. We have found our first perpetrator. Hired hand, but a lead as promising as any other. Now, I imagine this no good for nothing driver who blah 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 won't know who truly hired him, or he just said who hired him, or at least who gave him the money, but that probably wasn't the person that hired him, and there's more to the story. But still, it's exciting. We finally have something to go on. But I tell you what, if it hadn't been for Nico and his excellent skills that he had learned from his father, they won't even be this far. A minion, indeed. Quite right. Quite right. Excellent choice of words. If I run out of tea before the night is over, that's okay. I've got wine in the fridge. And you'll have to forgive me. I don't have a glass of sorts to pour it into, so I'll just be drinking from the bottle. All right. Ooh. I also have wine in my fridge. But is your fridge that close? Oh, by the way, can we get a shout out for Johnny? Not quite. Ha, I got you beat. If you guys need some fun during the day, I tell you what, this Johnny, I am so glad we've met. Seriously. And I'm really glad that your wife is a writer. I have tea.
No!
Yes.
Yeah. Sit down. Hey, like, there's so many
Sit down. What you saying? I have tea, Arnold Palmer, Arizona, with a touch of orange vanilla Mio mix.
Jigsaw.
Interesting.
Wow, I can't get the fucking words out. Okay. My dude, really? Open Windows, press X. God!
Gemma, well done on the race. Johnny is such a cool dude, and his wife is a writer. After, I think timing-wise, when we're done with this read, her book might be ready. At least we're hoping that's how it's gonna kind of time or work out words. We're hoping that's how it's gonna play. But we'll see. So yeah, it's just been great to get to know him and hang out a little bit while I'm working. So please give Johnny a follow if you haven't already. He's a New Yorker, all right? You can park the car, put the coffee in the drawer. You know what I mean? Okay. Enough of that. He's probably like, oh my god, stop with the accent. I mean no harm, sir. Please. Okay, chapter 20, page 123 in the printed copy is from Nico Sapori's perspective. In Movimento. On the Move is the title of this chapter. Here we go. Okay, I was just checking the clock on the ads. We're good. I stared out of the carriage window as we continued our journey, and the horses broke into a steady trot, trying not to alert Gino's attention. From the position of the night sky, I figured we were heading in a northeasterly direction, and roughly estimating the speed of the coach and the time travel, we would be around 6 miles from St. Monica, and that being the case, this meant we would be approximately 3 miles from Milan city centre. Okay, this is a child. I wouldn't have been able to figure that out. That's amazing. Fubar, thank you for the lurk. Hold on. Fubar is another soul that you should go see. He is no ordinary child. Well, definitely not. Due to the lack of any outside noise, with the hustle and bustle of the city and the World Fair now in the background, we were on our way to somewhere quiet and unassuming in the northeastern region of Lombardy. I must have dozed off for a few minutes. When I opened my eyes, the coach traveled along a quiet country road. The only sound was from the horses' hooves and an owl hooting in the distance. The coach veered off to the left until we were on a long, winding lane. Before us stood an imposing white stone detached farmhouse, surrounded by various outbuildings, sheds, and open fields, with silhouettes of several horses grazing in the meadow. The coach pulled up in front of 2 wrought iron gates that closed the driveway entrance. They were bronze cast of 2 Neapolitan horses welded to them. Thank you for the lurk, Adamantine. A mysterious figure dressed in black suddenly appeared to open the gates. He waited until the coach eased further into the driveway before closing the gates behind us and disappearing into the stables next to the house. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Adamantine, could you speak up, please? What was that? Sorry. Race number 10. I tell you, I have no idea who's going to win this Grand Prix. It's kind of a free-for-all right now. A large hound resembling a Neapolitan Mastiff sat at the edge of the drive with its loose skin and distinctive wrinkles. It barked as our carriage drove past, culminating in a deep-chested growl. I felt relieved that its master had chained the beast to the wall. Gino helped me out of the carriage, and that's when I noticed the establishment sign swinging in the gentle night breeze over the flickering gas lights. Unfortunately, tarpaulin? Not sure what that is. covered the sign, hiding its name and location. Yet despite this, the place seemed vaguely familiar. I felt a sense of déjà vu, as if I'd been here before. Gino ushered me towards a side door, and within moments we were met by a man I didn't recognize. A tall fellow with dark, shoulder-length hair. He gestured to Gino to follow him, not uttering a word to either of us. We walked through a large kitchen until we found ourselves at an imposing wood-paneled hallway. Its highly polished walls covered with ornate, multicolored rugs, holding console tables with vases of summer flowers, and a red couch with gold trimmings set in the corner. We continued off to the right to a sweeping staircase leading to the first floor of the building. We passed what appeared to be a trophy room, its door ajar displaying a vast array of glittering trophies in glass cabinets. They glittered in the puzzle. They glittered in the puzzle. Well done, puzzlers. Congratulations. The Park of Esther something Palace in Austria. All right. Beautiful. It does make one wish they could visit. Absolutely lovely. Well done. They glittered in the glare of the moonlight shining in from the window. Gino and I followed the man into a large, well-appointed room on the right. I glanced around, realizing that this was my second prison, although the surroundings were much more amendable than the vaults of St. Monica Church, as Gino predicted. A large double bed was in the center of the room, with a mahogany bedstead covered with a green counterpane and matching curtains that hung from 2 windows, their views blocked by thick wooden shutters. Both windows bolted to the inside with bars running across, no doubt to stop me from escaping. In the middle of the room sat a large mahogany wardrobe and a matching chest of drawers, a marble wash-hand basin with soap, a toothbrush, and a toilet closet set in the corner with white hand towels hanging from a hook on the wall. The silent man handed the key to Gino before turning around and leaving the room. Don't mind him, Nico. He's a deaf mute, Gino explained. Why, young Giovanni, I can't believe your good fortune. You have landed at the Ritz. He laughed, slapping me on the shoulder. Gino opened the wardrobes and the chest of drawers to reveal an assortment of clothes, and although not new, they were all in pristine condition. Amongst the collection were underwear, nightwear, a pair of slippers, and a dressing gown. All more or less my size. Whoever had organized this appeared to have gone to a lot of trouble. 2 shelves within the wardrobe contained various books, including a game of goose board. A game of goose board? Is this like the early version of Duck Duck Goose? On the bedside table sat 2 taper candles, a jug of fresh lemonade, a mug, a plate of biscotti, and panettone. Shit, hostage or not, I kind of want to go and stay there. Bringing me meals, I got fresh clothes, place to wash up, nice comfortable bed. I'm just saying. Can be worse. I shifted slightly on the embroidered chair, glancing towards the window. Yeah, you know, KD, you could really say that in a lot of different ways, but my personal favorite is, yeah, lock me up. Glancing towards the window. However, it revealed only darkness, turning my attention back to Gino, who lingered awkwardly by the bedside table, casting me a furtive glance. I wonder where the bell is for room service, Gino said, picking up a slice of panettone and devouring it hungrily. Tell me, Gino. I'd wager you're a family man who understands the importance of loyalty. One does not betray family, does one? Gino shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting around the room. We do what we must, he muttered. It's a harsh world we live in, much more challenging for some than others. He paused, glancing at the door as if in fear someone might overhear. I have a wife and children. Of course, my family is important to me. I would do anything to protect them. True. I nodded, studying Gino furtively. I leaned forward, my eyes narrowing shrewdly. I won another race. How? I'm so sorry. You poor and unfortunate souls. So sad. So true. Race number 11 starts right now. Good luck. I leaned forward, my eyes narrowing shrewdly. Well, it will be the same for my parents. They will be worrying, wouldn't you agree? Surely you could give me a clue as to where we are so I know I may be close to them. It's not as thorough I can escape. Gino's face tightened, and he stepped back, regarding me with a look that conveyed sympathy and fear. Not now, Giovanni, he stammered. I wouldn't want to give you the wrong idea of me, but it would be more than my life's worth to divulge our whereabouts. You're safe and comfortable enough here, aren't you? Indeed, I replied, leaning back thoughtfully. But I suspect there are others here who question the wisdom of my enforced incarceration. Looking directly into Gino's eyes, I uttered, Perhaps I'm not the only one who would feel relieved if my parents took me off your hands? Gino hesitated. Listen, Giovanni, he whispered. I'm not heartless. I don't like seeing you here, if truth be told. But Connie is of a callous, unforgiving nature. I'd sooner cross the devil than get on the wrong side of her. I wish it were different. He sighed. But sadly, there's no way out of here until the ransom is paid. That's all I will say on the matter. So please, no more questions. One word to the wrong person, and even I won't be able to protect you. It's best to keep quiet about such things, little soldier. I studied Gino for a moment, his gaze sharp and not missing a beat. With a nod of acknowledgement, he gave me a wiry smile. I shall take your caution to heart, I replied. Purple. Hello. It's the derpliest purple you'll ever see. And she's a treat. How are you, ma'am? It's a pleasure to see you. You look very nice today, Atkinson. Hello. Wait. Are you saying that I don't look nice sometimes? I'm just giving you crap. I know I look good. Most of the time. Doing alright. It's a pleasure to see you. It's a pleasure to see you too. You always look nice. Thank you. He always looks nice. Rexter, stop it. Super trying to swoop in. Here comes race number 12. That is delicious. 60 seconds starting now. Stump Papa's playing Helldivers. They'll dish out some liberty. I shall take your caution to heart, I replied. I must go now, but I'll return in the morning, hopefully with news of your release. I'm confident we're much closer to receiving the ransom, which will resolve the situation for everyone. In the meantime, get some rest. It's not too tricky in that comfortable-looking bed, eh? After Gino left the room, locking the door behind him, I sat on the bed, comforted by his words and new surroundings. I wondered if my father had reached my first hiding place and found the book containing the clues. In the meantime, I vowed to make the best of my situation. After getting back up, I splashed my face in the sink's water, removed my dirty clothes, and washed myself as best I could. Opening the chest of drawers to retrieve the pajamas, I furrowed my brow as I heard something rattle. I pushed my hand into the back of the drawer and discovered a handheld electric torch surrounded by a sturdy metal casing, similar to the type used by law enforcement officers. I examined it closely, and the battery was in place. I prayed it wasn't a dud before flicking the switch. To my great relief, the torch worked perfectly, shining a bright amber glow across the room. Afraid my find would be discovered, I switched off the torch, concealing it under the back of the wardrobe before pulling on the pajamas and crawling into bed. I burrowed my head into the comforting softness of the plush pillow, falling into a deep slumber within moments, totally exhausted from the night's events. Okay, so chapter 20, Nico has officially been moved. He was told it was going to be nicer where he was going to, and sure enough, he's in a nice, kind of like a hotel room, really. Just, one that you can't leave because you're locked inside. But still, it's a nice room. Why does my camera keep moving? I don't know. Yeah, interesting. But this torch, aka flashlight, is another indication of the connection to law enforcement. Now the question is it Gyarikos' torch? Or is it perhaps a different officer's torch? I'm going to guess different because we're in a whole new place. Different environment altogether. Why do I feel like there's this huge shock and awe moment coming at the end of this story? Like, surprise, it was me all along. Like, I was in on it. Like, we know who the mastermind is because we've already met Robert. Don't tell me. Yeah, Robert Barrett, the Englishman. But with so many enforcement, police officers, polizia involved, I wonder kind of how far does it go? Is it possible that Salvatore is involved somehow? Seems highly unlikely at this moment. But yet, could it be? Blueberry. Oi. You. Take sip. I shall, thank you. I'm almost to the end of my tea. It's very sad. But so delicious. Blueberry, how are you? Actually, I had a different idea in mind after my tea is gone. I only have about 25 minutes left, give or take, depending on where we are in a chapter. But
yeah, hi. We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
I have wine in the fridge. And I do love me a sip of wine. Just a sip. You're okay? Glad to hear it. Surviving the best I can. Well, that doesn't sound, like... Life has been weird lately. I'm sorry to hear that. I know it's not unusual for life to throw a curveball every so often. I hope for your sake that they aren't too bad. 60 seconds on the clock. Weird in the sense of current events. Okay. Sounds very cryptic. Oh, that felt good. Stretch. Oh, man. 10 squats, 15 curls, 15 hammer curls, 5 push-ups. I will be doing some workouts on Tuesday. I'm just not doing them tonight. I'm a chronic emotional person, so I feel everyone's pain, and the news does not help. Oh. I see what you mean. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know. I mean, there's nothing really I can say to say, oh, don't absorb it. Because that's not for me to, figure out for you. That's a you thing. I won't elaborate anymore, though, because that's not the vibe I want to bring. I understand. I get it. Just distract myself? Well, let me distract you as well. Let's read chapter 21, which is also from Nico's perspective. This one's entitled Skakomato. Checkmate. Definitely need it. Well, I'll do my best. You're welcome to join the races too, even though there's only a few left. Throw some other people off, perhaps. But here we go. Page 128 in the printed copy, chapter 21, Nico Sapori. Gino returned the following morning with breakfast, carrying a leather satchel over his left shoulder. I stared at him curiously as he opened the bag to reveal an old wooden chess set. The subject of chess came up during yesterday's conversation. Gino boasted that his father taught him to play and asked if I would be interested in a game. I accepted, saying I would do anything to pass the time and alleviate the monotony. Good God, that was bright. Gino said he'd spoken to the boss, who I presumed was Connie, and after a little subtle persuasion, she finally permitted him to bring in the set. We laid the pieces on the table before sitting down to play. I couldn't believe my luck when Gino pulled out a small, commemorative religious medal from his pocket, turning it over in his hand. The medal bore a Pope Pius X head on one side and a church on the reverse. Gino flipped a coin to determine who would play white and have the advantage of starting first. Gino tossed the coin into the air, calling heads. It spun around before falling to the floor, landing head downwards at my feet. Picking up the coin, I quickly examined it, noticing an engraving of San Giuliano Church on the reverse before returning it to its proud owner. I wondered if the church on the medal could help identify the location where I was being held. Gino appeared to be religious. He wore a gold chain and a crucifix around his neck, and would likely attend mass at confession at one of the local churches. If my suspicions were correct. As the game got underway, we heard the musical ringing of a church clock chiming 11 times. The sound was reminiscent of a church near my home. I diverted my gaze to Gino, staring at him curiously. The bells sound like a clock I'm familiar with. The sound of Chiesa di San Giovanni striking the hour. I said, my heart in my mouth, hoping that Gino would take the bait. Gino looked up at me, a wiry smile on his face. No, Nico, you are wrong. It's the San Giuliano, he replied, fixing his gaze back toward the chessboard, appearing eager to make his next move. San Giuliano was close to a livery stable where my mother used to take me and my sister Charlotte. However, I couldn't remember the stable's name for my life. I pondered how I could get this information to my parents. Gino played far better than I expected for a simple man. Still, sadly, he was no match for the intellectual reasoning and deductive prowess I'd inherited from my father and uncle. Nevertheless, aware that I needed to stay in Gino's good books and gain his trust, I played strategically, giving him a good game and finally allowing him to checkmate my king. Gemma, perhaps it's you who is going to take first place at the end of the Grand Prix. The Grand Prix. You have won quite a few, so it seems. May the odds be ever in your favor. Gino chuckled in amusement and thanked me, wishing me better luck next time before venturing outside for a cigarette break, leaving the chess set behind for me to amuse myself. I was engrossed in a solitary game of chess when I heard the key turn in the lock. I looked up, expecting to see Gino. Instead, the woman identified as Connie entered the room, followed by a man of middle age, slim build, and medium height. He wore a tweed suit, a white shirt with a starched collar, and a blue tie. His salt and pepper hair was brushed back from his face, revealing two dazzling blue eyes that smiled at me in amusement from behind a pair of horned-rimmed glasses. I can turn the page. Good morning, Nico. I trust you slept well. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bob. I stared at him defiantly. You need to let me go before the Polizia find you. What did my family do to make you want to punish them this way? Bob threw back his head and laughed. I have no argument with your mother, Nico. But as for your father, let's just say he and I have unfinished business. Our paths crossed before you were even born. I have waited a long time. Since 1889, nearly 17 years to punish him for what he did. I shook my head, staring at Bob, perplexed. I don't understand. My father is a good man. He would never hurt anyone intentionally. Why are you lying? Bob sighed. Sadly, I speak the truth, Nico. The story is far too tangled to go into now. All you need to know is that your father was instrumental in ruining my life. But please don't worry. I have no intention of hurting you. Your abduction is purely a business transaction. Nothing more, nothing less. When your parents pay the ransom, you can return home. On that, you have my word. Your word, I retorted. How on earth can you expect me to trust you? Bob gave a tight-lipped smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Ah, there's the rub, Nico. You seem like an intelligent kid. You see, I don't expect anything other than the ransom. And to be frank, I don't care. If I have caused your father a fraction of the angst he caused me all those years ago, then my job is done. Bob's eyes narrowed. I'm responsible for some terrible misdeed, Nico, and have experienced some unimaginable horrors, but as God is my witness, I have never hurt a child. Pedicide is not my thing. Although if your father were here right now, that would be different. He's responsible for everything, you see. The death of my wife and child, everything lost because of him. The irony is your father believes I'm dead. However, as you can see, son, I'm not so easy to kill. I'm not your son, I cried, flashing Bob a hateful stare. And if I were, I would be ashamed to call you father. Real men don't lay their hands on women or children. Purple, well done. 2 more races, and then it's over. But there will be a victor. And to the victor go the chance to, the heck? Okay, that was weird. Wasn't letting me join. Start. Wait, no. What the? Okay. Well, my apologies. It didn't give me a countdown. It went from 10 seconds instead of 60. Purple, I love the wings. Yes, bragging rights. A shiver went down my spine at those dazzling blue eyes that twinkled a few moments ago, now looked upon me with a glare as cold as ice. His tone, measured and calculating, now turned dark and sinister. I hope not to inconvenience you for too long, Nico. On the contrary, we hope to restore your liberty soon. The irony is you would be free now if your father hadn't interfered and involved Inspector Romano and the Polizia. So I'm afraid you have him to thank for your prolonged incarceration. I stared at Bob hard, trying to take in every detail. When do you expect the ransom? I asked with a faux bravado. Within the week. However, I shall be in touch with your father before then to remind him that this isn't a game. In the meantime, is there anything you would like me to relay to your parents on your behalf? Something only they and you would know, Nico? I nodded, trying to think of something that would give a further clue to my father without arousing suspicion. Yes, thank you. Please tell my parents that I love them and wish I could be with them this weekend. We were due to walk Uncle Toby's natural trail, an event we were very much looking forward to as a family. Will that suffice? I asked, staring at Bob anxiously, although the thought of my father following a nature trail made me smile inwardly. Perfect, Nico. That's a good choice. Your father will realize we would have no way of being privy to that information. I suggest you make the most of your new surroundings. You'll continue to be treated well during your stay, just as long as you don't try any funny business. Gino may come across as an amendable fool, but you don't want to get on the wrong side of him. Bob nodded to Connie before turning around and leaving my prison. Connie's grey eyes glanced around the room. She wore a brown dress and jacket. Her hair was tied up in a knot beneath a straw hat with a green velvet ribbon, and a pair of brown leather boots complemented the outfit. My heart was in my mouth as Connie walked over to the wardrobe and drawers. She thoroughly inspected the contents with a bemused expression, checking under the bed and pillows until she finally appeared satisfied. Do as Bob asked, and all will be well, she hissed. But if you don't, and you try to cross us, she added menacingly, making a throat-slashing gesture. She stared straight into my eyes with a bone-chilling gaze. Then never mind underestimating Gino. You'll have me to answer to. Test me at your peril. Gemma won again. Where is my mouse? Hello? Seriously, where's my mouse? You know, it's done this before. My mouse just disappeared. There you are. Sheesh. All right. This is the last race of the Grand Prix. I wish you all the best of luck. 60 seconds on the clock. Then, without another word, Connie turned on her heels and flounced out of the room, locking the door behind her. I heaved a sigh of relief that at least the torch remained undiscovered. Connie and Bob's presence had created so many unanswered questions. I had a hunch that Bob wasn't the man's real name, but he was giving nothing away. How did Bob know my father? And what happened all those years ago to make him hate him so much? If the events had occurred as he said, then Bob must surely know my father as Sherlock Holmes. Father told me in confidence that he only took over the identity of Luca Sapori 7 years ago in 1899, after he reunited with my mother when they subsequently remarried in Milan. My father often recounted a few of his most famous cases when we were alone together. Others I read about in Dr. John Watson's Chronicles, in the Strand magazine. I couldn't think of anyone at liberty or still alive capable of such extremities, unless it was the unthinkable or the unbelievable. Jack Stapleton, the deadly antagonist from The Hound of Bakerville, was regarded as one of my father's most exciting and intriguing cases. Still, Stapleton was supposed to have perished all those years ago in the Great Grimpen Mire. I shook my head. No, it couldn't be him unless he returned as a ghost. Like my father, I didn't believe in such entities. There had to be another logical explanation. Then I remembered the date Bob mentioned, 1889, almost 17 years ago. The year John Mortimer asked my father to investigate the suspicious death of his dear friend, Sir Charles Bakerville, who died from a heart attack in the Yew Valley of his estate, Bakerville Hall of Dartmoor. My blood turned cold at the thought Bob could be Jack Stapleton, this wolf in sheep's clothing. From what father told me and what I read, Stapleton and Bob would be around the same age. But what would we be doing here in Milan if that were the case? It wasn't just illogical, and it seemed highly improbable. My thoughts were interrupted by Gino entering the room, flashing an enigmatic smile. I feel bad for beating you, little soldier. How about a rematch? He asked, his eyes brimming with confidence as they diverted to the chessboard. Why not? I shrugged, smiling resignedly, as I helped Gino set up the board for the second time. And that, my friends, is the end of chapter 21. So, thank you, Super. Without realizing it, Nico, the young and upcoming detective, has figured out who Bob really is without actually knowing that he's figured it out. This is going to be interesting.
More! More!
I'm so glad I had just swallowed my tea. Because, that startled me. Why is that stuff always hidden behind that? Marbles on stream is on top. Perhaps I need to move you here. Maybe over here? Yes. Actually, we're just gonna... Oh, I'm moving the wrong frickin' thing. I am a fool. But it's fine. Okay, that should be better. Stop Mama's Mama winning the very last race. Thank you and good night all. Yes, get some much needed sleep, Katie. Thank you for being here again. I hope you have a lovely couple of days. Your story is getting really good. You're off to your comfy bed? I would have been in it already. My comfy bed, not yours. Like, I could see how that could have been taken. I would have been in Katie's comfy bed already. All right. Let's find out who won. In third place, we have me, the monkey ball with red eyes. Not surprising. I won a few, but I did not win them all. second place. Super. Well done. Round of applause. I have a feeling I know who has taken first place. I have a very strong suspicion. Let's find out if I'm correct. In first place, it is Gemma. Gemma, well done, much deserved. You were just winning races left, right, and center. Let's take a look at the points, shall we? 290 points from 6 wins. Super. 3 wins, 253 points. I had 4 wins, but I only got 243, which is why I was in 3rd place. Not bad. Well done. Well done indeed. All right, I'm going to put that over there. Put this, I'm going to keep that right there. Let's find someone to go say hello to, shall we? If I can get this frickin'... Why is it being like this? Ah. No. Snooze. We don't need ads right now. Okay. Gosh, tonight has been a blast. I really appreciate everyone being here. The gifted subs, the generosity was just off the charts. I hope you guys know you never, ever have to do anything. Ever. But my gosh, when you do, you blow my heart wide open. So please know that it is... Thank you, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Right. Let's figure out who we're going to go say hello to. We will be back on Tuesday to continue more with this story. I feel like something is cooking, right? There's definitely something about to happen. I can feel it. Gosh, there are so many people online right now. And my watch is buzzing like nobody's business, and I don't know why. Gosh. Can feel it in your jellies. Yes. Where are those? Roughly. Asking for a friend. Just curious. I don't know who to say hello to. There's so many people on, but I don't know who to raid. I got nothing. I'm looking. I'm scanning. I am surveying, weighing the options, as one might say. You know, I think we'll go visit my buddy Night Marcher. He is doing the unwritten roleplay. He's just a good, safe bet to hang out with for a few minutes, if you have the time. Here is the raid message. Please give that a copy pasta. Make sure I spelled that correctly. There we go. All right. So yes, Tuesday we'll continue this fantastic book, and then, as I said earlier, on Thursday, Super and I are going to be, well, helping the French with their resistance. Vive la France. So yes, that'll be exciting. Co-op style mission to mission. Super, I hope you realize that once we start this together, this journey, that means we are tied to the game. We can't just go play the next levels without each other. I hope you realize this. Otherwise, I will put you in my scope. We will get her done. We will. Thank you all so much for being here. Come say hi to Night Marcher with me. It's been a pleasure reading to you. I can't wait to see you next time. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have an amazing night.